this is Faith at Faith and Books. How are you doing? As you can see, we still don't have our grandfather clock fixed because I don't know about this clock shop. They seem like really darling old men who would be good clock repairers, but our mantle clock is not repaired correctly, and the guy who said call him in a week, yeah, he went on vacation, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But anyway, I am doing a tag. This is called the reader profile tag. I haven't done a tag in a million years. I did them a whole lot when I first started this channel, but then I just stopped having enough time to do tags and just talk about books. But I'm making an exception because I was tagged by Talia Nerds Out. Now, if other people have tagged me over the last year or so, I'm so sorry. I just couldn't seem to get around to doing tags. I am doing it this time though. And I wanna make this into a shout out for two channels, Talia Nerds Out and Genre Books. So, and he's the one that originated this tag, the reader profile tag. So Talia Nerds Out, I first heard the name of that channel when, way back at the beginning of the year when I was going to do Historathon. I really fell down on the job with Historathon. Maybe next year will be better. But I noticed her name there, Talia Nerds Out. And then I stumbled across her channel, and I really enjoy her content. I think we have a lot of similar tastes. You have her, the videos kind of, the video isn't, I think she films in really low light. And so the quality might not be great, but it's because light gives her migraines. And I really feel for her because my oldest daughter has just developed this in the last year where exposure to light, like overhead lights and stuff, triggers migraines, which is so debilitating. So I feel for Talia, and she wears these rose-colored glasses, literally, that are supposed to help too. I hope my daughter can get them, and maybe that, because she's a school teacher. How is she not going to work? I mean, she's got to be on meds all the time to try to control. I don't know. It's just so. Anyway, so I feel for Talia. So if you don't mind that. And I don't. I'm somebody who I can appreciate a really nicely edited, well done video. That's great. But if it's just somebody talking into the camera about books, I'm fine with that too. I don't even notice that it's missing. So I'm pretty easygoing that way. But I love Talia's content. So I've been starting to go to her channel, and so I'm going to shout out for her, give her a shout out, and then also Genre Books, who, because of Talia, I subscribed to him very recently. And what I like about Genre Books is he does these shorts where every day he tells you the birthday of some writer, like happy birthday to, say, Gary Larson, who wrote The Far Side. And that's just a really cool thing to come across in my feed. So I appreciate that. And I think his taste, as far as I can tell, goes to like science fiction, fantasy, that type of thing. Anyway, I really appreciate his shorts. So I'm going to link both those below. And I'm also going to link the prompts for this reader profile tag. And if you want to do it, I'm doing a blanket tag. If you like these questions and you want to do a tag, please do it. Oh, my battery level is low. So I better get going. All right, so here are the prompts. How many are there? There are 10. Okay. Number one, what for you makes a good book? Well, for me, it's the writing. So I don't like a badly written book. I love a good plot. I really appreciate a good plot. If the plot doesn't make sense or it's overly complicated and I can't figure it out, or I don't know, that can take it down a peg or two, but in my estimation. But I also don't necessarily need a plot. I like a good character sketch, or if it's beautiful descriptive writing. it just has to be good writing. So I think I can appreciate all those different aspects as long as it's well written. Prompt number 2. What are you currently reading? Okay, so this is my Kindle read for at night when I turn the lights out. It's the collection of very early short stories by Agatha Christie. So far, they're not mysteries. They're just kind of spooky. But I'm reading that. I'm also reading Sweetwater. I'm really taking my time going through this. It's just a leisurely read before I go to sleep at night by Arthur Ransom. This is the 8th book in the series, The Swallows and Amazons series, and I'm slowly making my way through. I'm reading the Gulag Archipelago. Oh my gosh, I can never remember how to say it. My husband's always correcting me. I've just started that one. So more on this later in an upcoming video. I'm also working my way through the letters of St. Paul. So I just started Philippians. So I'm reading the introductory notes to the epistle to the Philippians. And I'm also reading the Aeneid with my son. It's a buddy read with him. And right now I'm in, what book is this? Book 9. I'm in book 9, about a third of the way through book 9. So yeah, this is proving to be a good read. So that's what I'm reading currently. Okay, that's all my current reads. Prompt number 3. What's the last book you didn't finish and why? Oh, I was reading The American Gospel by John Meacham as a Kindle read, and it was disappointing. I didn't finish it. To me, it felt very weak, and it also felt very kind of modernist, like the kind of historian that looks back on the people in the past and looks down on them, and it's just too bad that they weren't as advanced as we are, that sort of thing. I mean, I know that's true to a certain extent, but I think you have to be a good historian, you have to get into the mindset of why people were doing things or what were the assumptions, the cultural assumptions and that sort of thing. I just thought it was weak. It wasn't telling me anything I didn't already know. So yeah, I DNF'd it. All right. What obscure book do you wish other people would read? Okay, I have a bunch of these. Where did I put them? Okay, where's the other one? Oh, over there. Okay, all right. Okay, first of all, Precious Bane by Mary Webb. I don't think this gets enough love. It's a beautiful romance, very bucolic novel. I think it was written in the Edwardian times, so it feels earlier than that because it's out in the country and it has to do with a lot of like kind of superstition, you know, that sort of the peasants have. But it's a beautiful book and I love it, and I just don't hear it mentioned very much. So that's something that I think needs more attention. And then I'm always talking about My Friend Flicka, this trilogy. I read Green Grass of Wyoming for June on the Range. And there's My Friend Flicka, Thunderhead, and then the final book. And it's just a great series, and I don't know why it's been forgotten. It's just, this one has beautiful illustrations. It's just been forgotten, and it's just heartwarming and intelligent, and it's just lovely. I think that it shouldn't be ignored the way it is. And then, let me grab this. And then, of course, lately I've been collecting these books. This was my father's cousin by marriage, and these are really delightful children's books, Irish children's books written by Mary Flynn back in the 1940s. And I've read the first one. I've got to read the next two, but I think they need more attention. This one was republished in 1990. But yeah, so I think the Cornelius Rabbit series by Mary Flynn should get more attention than it does. All right, let's see. Prompt number 5. What's the longest book you've ever read? Well, I've read the Bible from cover to cover. I did that 1 year. So that's pretty long. That's probably the longest one. And let's see, what else? I've read, of course, The City of God, so that's pretty long. And I think this might be my longest, besides the Bible, is The Life of Samuel Johnson, which I actually listened to on audio. And then I went out and bought this copy, and I want to read it again. And I'm wondering if anyone wants to do like a year-long, or I don't know, maybe a 6-month-long buddy read with me to read The Life of Samuel Johnson by Boswell. I fell in love with Samuel Johnson listening to this, and I really want to revisit it. So maybe 2025. Is anyone up for it? So that might be the longest besides the Bible. All right, if you could have a dinner party with 5 fictional characters, who would they be? So I decided it would be a hoot, although it could also be dangerous, to invite Don Camillo and Pepone, Mayor Pepone. This is a series written by Giovanni Guareschi, and they're hysterical. They take place post-World War II in a little town in Italy where the priest, Don Camillo, has grown up with the mayor, Pepone. They fought together in World War II, but he's the one's a Catholic priest and the other one is the communist mayor of the little town, and they fight like cats and dogs. So to invite both of those to a dinner party would be, it would be very, very interesting, putting it mildly. It would probably end in a fist fight. But so I'd invite them because that would be quite exciting. And then I was thinking the book The Warden by Anthony Trollope, if we invited Septimus Harding, then he would be like shy and diffident, and he would just provide music for us by going off in the corner and playing his cello. And then I thought I should invite some women. So I thought Elizabeth Bennet, because maybe her presence might make Septimus Harding a little more comfortable. She'd know how to deal with the clergy. But she'd also be very entertained by the interactions of Don Camillo and Mayor Pepone. And then I thought to top it all off, I'd invite Joan March, and she would be moralizing about the whole thing. It would be a very interesting dinner party, I think, with all those guests. All right, and then prompt 7 is 5 books you'd want if stranded on a desert island. Now, I was interviewed by Sean Standfast when he did his Desert Island Books series, and I think I had to come up with 8 there. I can't even remember. And now this one I could barely remember 3, but I'm pretty sure the Bible was one of them. And I think the Introduction to the Devout Life by Francis de Sales, because that's a really wise, comforting book. And then I was thinking David Copperfield, because I love that book and because, I just love all the characters in it. I wouldn't feel lonely because all those characters would be there. And also that reminds me of both my husband and my children, because I read it out loud to the family one winter, and that was a really special memory. And then I think for the final 2, because I'm a very sentimental family person, something that would remind me of my mother and something that would remind me of my father. And for my mother, I think because she loved Anthony Trollope, I think I would want to bring the whole Barchester series, or the whole Chronicles. But if I could only bring one, I think I would bring Barchester Towers. And then to remind me of my father, I think for Sean's interview, I said C.S. Forrester's Hornblower series, but I'm going to switch that up to Rumpole of the Bailey, because he loves Wordsworth, and it would be really good to be reading some Wordsworth while stranded on a desert island. So I think it would be maybe the omnibus of Rumpole or something. So those would be my 5 books. Prompt 8, 1 book you could not put down. I had trouble thinking of something, but earlier this year, I reread most of the Medicus series by Ruth Downey. because it was for There's No Place Like Rome. So they're set in Rome and Britain, and they're kind of cozy mysteries. They're a little bit darker than your typical cozy, but not too bad. But I love the characters, and it's a very sweet romance, and I love the setting. And I just read them like potato chips, just one after the other. So I really enjoyed that. So I'm going to say the Medicus series for prompt 8. Prompt 9, 5 books or authors you will never read. So I had kind of a prejudice against male authors of the 1960s, I guess, is about, that to me seemed very Freudian and very misogynistic. And so these are the ones, and I could be way off base, but I've never been attracted to any of these authors. Saul Bellow, John Updike, Norman Mailer, Kurt Vonnegut, and Cormac McCarthy. I've never found them appealing, or I'll read reviews of the books, or I think I even attempted to read a couple of books. Like I think I tried something by Saul Bellow and just turned off totally. So I don't think I'm ever going to read any of those authors. And then prompt number 10, if you were to write a book, what would it be about? I did write a book. I kept trying to do NaNoWriMo. I think 2 or 3 times. I was unsuccessful. I just gave up halfway through. But finally, the stars were aligned, and I did complete the whole thing, and I did write a book. And it was like an alternate history of my own adolescence. I had a very painful adolescence, and I think... so I was imagining how it could have been better, like what elements, if certain elements were present, could it have made it better? And so I sort of reimagined it, and it's sort of based around the idea that, because I grew up outside Washington, D.C., and when I was growing up, especially in the 1970s, there was a real bluegrass revival, and I loved bluegrass music. There were like special radio shows that you could listen to, and so I kind of based it on that. It was me reimagining my own adolescence, but different, not exactly the same, different. So yeah, so it starts off right before she goes into high school and ends after she's graduated and she's going off the summer after high school. So yeah, I was pretty proud of it. I don't know where it is now. I can't even remember what I called it. This was years ago I did it. But I was very, very proud of the fact that I completed it and I actually told a whole story. So yeah. Okay, so the last prompt is tag some people, but I'm tagging anybody who's interested. Please feel free. All right. I hope you are having a good week. I hope that you are enjoying your books, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.